The look of Snowfall really is Los Angeles.
Los Angeles just has a buzz about it, man, that like everyone wants to know what it's like. If you've never been here before, there's always going to be a mysticism about it, and I think the cinematography captured that perfectly.
I think that it starts with the mandate from John Singleton that they put out an hour-long movie every week. So I think that there is this goal to turn out the most cinematic-looking pictures possible.
I've been so happy with the look of it, and so bringing in two new DPs, the edict was really not to reinvent the wheel here, it was really just to kind of stay with what was working.
Tommy Maddox, he actually innovated certain kinds of lens flares that he helped create with the lens manufacturer.
We augmented some lenses that I really love to use, these super speeds that I had manipulated over at Keslow, and I use it with the Venice as a little bit form of a creative expression in the show. I know it's a different camera and lenses than what they used the first two seasons, but I also think the story's evolved to something else, so I thought it was appropriate to kind of switch it up.
Since we had decided to change camera systems, going from the Panasonic to the Sony Venice this year, we remade LUTs to emulate the looks that was happening in previous seasons.
John Lindley and Jeff Greeley did a really good job of setting up the look and the tone of the show. Tried to transition it a little bit into where the story's going. Season 3, we have a bunch of crossovers, so I'm trying to incorporate this crossover in the visual tonality and color palette. And I've desaturated or I've added a bit more white or something like that.
I'm always intrigued by the way that our cinematographers find their way into scenes and tell a bigger story.
Between South Central, the CIA, and East LA, as the series has evolved, the barriers between those have broken down, and now they're all entwined. They start to melt together.
When it's a Franklin storyline and there's certain things going on, it feels sort of like it should have certain kinds of shots, and then when it's Teddy and Julia and that sort of thing, it sort of feels like it should have these other shots. Really, in the end, for me, it's a lot about that. It's just like, how should this feel?
Elliot said, yeah, you know, we have certain instruments that we use for the CIA scenes, and they're mostly like grays and blues and a cooler tone. And then the way that we shoot in South Central is very different. It's a lot more yellow and amber and orange and those kinds of things. And so in that day, we were shooting a scene with me and Franklin. And I was like, so well, then how are you gonna shoot this scene? And he's like, well, whichever character has gone to the other character's world, we live in that quality. So he was shooting Franklin with the CIA lights and lenses.
Shooting narrative drama is all about, like, does the picture emulate what sort of subtext is going on in that moment? And does the photograph that you're creating have the right sort of emotional quality to lead the viewer down the right path in terms of where they should be in the narrative and stuff like that?
The new writers that we bring in, you know, have their own perspective and their own ideas about what happened in '84 with the crack epidemic. And it just makes the stories and the characters richer and more resonant.
I'd say the biggest thing that we definitely almost stick to these days, particularly in season 3, are these beautiful long sequences where it's one take, one shot, a one-er, as they call it. And as an actor, it's great because the tension stays there, the stakes are there, and you really do stay in the scene, stay focused. And I think as an audience, that's fantastic to watch.
I think about a show like this is that it not only gives the actor rich material to play, but you also give a director room to be creative in what they're doing, and you merge it with the emotional side. And I think it gives the show its own look.
I think that's part of the challenge with television, is that there's so much television, and how do you make it unique? How do you make something, a moment, feel really authentic? I think those guys do a great magic trick every week.